Good evening, Pinwatani. Good evening, friends. We are back again on live online on this auspicious day of Vesak. We have been offline for a while. In future, we plan to go live regularly, and that is very soon. So today is Vesak, and I thought I would like to share with you live our evening worship so that you can also participate on this auspicious day from home. If you have been observing precepts from home and following our program today, which we organized for the Buddha Jayanti 2612th year to celebrate the birth of the Buddha, and also to celebrate the Buddhist calendar 2067th year. And we join everyone worldwide celebrating this auspicious moment. So it is the birth of the Siddhartha Gautama, the enlightenment of ascetic Gautama, or the birth of the Buddha, and also the passing away of the Buddha, which falls on Vesak full moon days. So first of all, let us observe precepts. Following that, we will do Buddha Vandana and meditation, and following that, we will do a short reflection and end up the program with chanting. So if you have not observed 8 precepts, and if you do not wish to continue with your observance of 8 precepts, if you have observed today, this morning, let us observe 5 precepts. Please say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Pānātipātā vīramani sikkhapaдаṃ samādhiyāmi. Adinādāna vīramani sikkhapaдаṃ samādhiyāmi. Kāmesu miccācārā vīramani sikkhapaдаṃ samādhiyāmi. මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. තිසරණේන සද්ධෙන් පංචශීලං ධම්මං සාදුකං සුරක්ඛිතං කତ୍වා අපමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං. Let us worship the Buddha together with me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarathi sattha deva manussanang buddho bhagavati. Buddhaṃ jīvita pariyantaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Ye ca buddhā atītā ca ye ca buddhā anāgatā paccuppanā ca ye buddhā ahaṃ vandāmi sambadā. Natti me saraṇaṃ aññaṃ buddho me saraṇaṃ varaṃ. Etena sacca vajjena hotu me jaya mangalaṃ. Uttamangena vandehaṃ pādapaṃ savaruttamam. Buddheyo kalito dosa buddho khamatu taṃ mamam. Swakhato bhagavata dhammo sandittiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccattaṃ veditabbo viññuhiti. Tammaṃ jīvita pariyantaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Ye ca dhammā atītā ca ye ca dhammā anāgatā paccuppanā ca ye dhammā ahaṃ vandāmi sambadā. Natti me saraṇaṃ aññaṃ dhammo me saraṇaṃ varaṃ. Etena sacca vajjena hotu me jaya mangalaṃ. Uttamangena vandehaṃ dhammaṃ ca tividaṃ varaṃ. Dhammeyo kalito dosa dhammo khamatu taṃ mamam. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho Ujjapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතු සාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතු සාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුරිස පුග්ගලා ඒස භගවතු සාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේය පාහුනේය දක්ඛිනේය අංජලි කරණීය අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤක්ඛතං ලෝකස්සාති සංඝං ජීවිත පරියන්තං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි යේච සංඝා අතීතාච යේච සංඝා අනාගතා පච්චපන්නා ච යේ සංඝා අහං වන්දාමි සම්බදා නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං සංඝෝ මේ සරණං වරං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං සංඝං ච ත්‍රිවිධෝත්තමං සංඝේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝස සංඝෝ කමතු තං මමං වන්දාමි චේතියං සම්බං සබ්බතානි සුපතිත්තිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහබෝධින් බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සම්බාරි විජයං අකා පත සබ්බඤ්ඤතං සත්තා වන්දේ තං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේ ඒතේ මහා බෝධි ලෝකනාතේන පූජිතා අහම්පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධි රාජා නමත්තේ ඝනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදංසිනා තිලෝකදීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමෝනුදං ගන්ධ සම්භාර යුත්තේන තුපේනහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයන්තං පූජාභාජන මුත්තමං වන්න ගන්ධ ගුණෝපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සන්තතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේන ච හෝතු මොක්ඛං උප්පං මිලායාති යතායි ධම්මේ කායෝ තථායාති විනාශ භාවං අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ පානීයං උපනාමිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු උත්තම අදිවාසේතුනෝ බහන්තේ ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු උත්තම අදිවාසේතුනෝ බහන්තේ සබ්බං සද්ධාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු උත්තම කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ බන්තේ පුරිපඤ්ඤ තථාගත ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ධම්මදේශනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මං පරං ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බානපත්තියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤං ආසවක්ඛයාවහං හෝතු සම්බ දුක්ඛා පමුංචතු සාදු සාදු සාදු. So if you have just joined us, we are going live here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. On this auspicious day of Vesak, we are celebrating Buddha Jayanti, 2612th year, and we are broadcasting our worship so that on this special day you can participate from home or even at workplace. Most of you may have observed 8 precepts. Otherwise, most of you must have also followed our program. This morning onwards, we've had broadcasted 6 sermons, and if you wish to listen to them at your ease or at your free time, please do go to our YouTube channel and follow our program. The venerables of which whose names I'll be mentioning later, and doing Punyanmodana. So now let us, before we go into the other half of our program, let us recite Ratana Sutta, which mentions the virtues of Triple Gem, and also may the truth embodied in the chantings be conducive for your well-being and happiness. May the recitation of the truth be conducive for your well-being and, most importantly, good health. We're also going to chant the Attavisati or Attavisipirita, which also has names and mentions the qualities of the previous past Buddhas, 20 Buddhas. So please join me in the chanting. Following that, we will continue with our reflection, meditation, and Punyanmodana. Samanta Cakkavalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Sagga Mokkadang Parittassavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Parittassavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Dhammassavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Yani debutani samagatani bhummani vayani vayantalikhe Sabbeva bhuta sumana bhavantu atopi sakkacca sunantu bhasitang Tasmahi bhutani sameta sabbe mettang karota manusiya pajaya Divacarato ca haranti baling tasmahi nirakkata appamatta Yang kinci vittang idhavahurang vasagesu vayang ratanang panitang Nanu samang attitathagaten idampi buddhe ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Khayang viragang amatang panitang Yadajjaga sakya muni samahito Natena dhammena samatti kinci Idampi dhamme ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Yang buddha setta parivannai sucing samadhimanantari kanyamaho Samadhinatena samona vijjati idampi dhamme ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye puggala atta satang pasatta cattari etani yugani honti Te dakkineya sugatassa savaka ete sudinnani mahappalani Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye suppayutta manasa dalhena nikkamino gotama sasanamhi Te patti patta amatang vigaiha laddha mudha nibbuting bhunjamana Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Yatinda kilo pataving sitosiya Catumbhi vadebhiya sampakampiyo Tatupamang sappurisang vadami Yo ariya saccani avecca passati Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye ariya saccani vibhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani කිංචාපි තේ හොන්ති බුසප්පමත්තා නතේ භවං අට්ඨමං ආදියන්ති ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු සහවස්ස දස්සන සම්පදාය තයස්සු ධම්මා ජහිතා භවන්ති සක්කාය දිට්ඨි විචිකිච්ඡිතං ච සීලබ්බතං වාපිය දත්ති කිංචේ චතුහ පායේහි ච විප්පමුත්තෝ චචාබිඨානානි අබබ්බෝ කාතුං ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කිංචාපිසෝ කම්මං කරෝති පාපකං කායේන වාචා උදචේතසාවා අබබ්බෝසෝ තස්ස පටිච්චාදාය අබබ්බතා දිට්ඨ පදස්ස බුත්තා ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වනප්පගුම්බේ යතා පුස්සිතග්ගේ ගිම්හාන මාසේ පඨමස්මින් ගිම්හේ තතුපමං ධම්මවරං අදේසයි නිබ්බානගාමින් පරමං හිතාය ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වරෝ වරඤ්ඤෝ වරදෝ වරාහරෝ අනුත්තරෝ ධම්මවරං අදේසයි ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කීනං පුරාණං නවං නත්ති සම්භවං විරත්ත චිත්තා ආයතිකේ භවස්මින් තේ කීන බීජා අවිරුල් හිච්ඡන්දා නිබ්බන්ති දීරායතායං පදීපෝ ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යානීද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං බුද්ධං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානීද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං ධම්මං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානීද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං සංඝං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන දුක්ඛාවුපසමින්තුතේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන පයාවුපසමින්තුතේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන රෝගාවුපසමින්තුතේ තන්නං කරෝ මහාවීරෝ මේදං කරෝ මහායසෝ සරණං කරෝ ලෝකහිතෝ දීපං කරෝ ජුතින්දරෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ ජනපාමොක්ඛෝ මංගලෝ පුරිසාසභෝ Sumano sumano dhiro revato rativaddhano Sobhito guna sampanno anomadassi januttamo Padumo loka pajjoto narado varasarati Padumuttaro sattasaro sumedo aggapuggalo Sujato sabbalo kaggo piyadassi narasabho Attadassi karuniko tammadassi tamonudo Siddhatto asamo loke tisso varada sangvaro Pusso varada sambuddho vipassī ca anupamo Sikhi sabbahito sattha vessa bhusukadayako Kakusando sattvaho konagamano rananjaho Kassapo siri sampanno gotamo sakya pungavo Tesang saccena silena kanti metta balena ca Te pitwang anurakkantu arogyena sukhena chati Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu Mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhave Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata Sabba buddhanubhavene sada sotti bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata Sabba dhammanubhavene sada sotti bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata Sabba sanghanubhavene sada sotti bhavantu te Nakkattayak bhutanang papaggaha nivarana Parittassanubhavene antu te sangupaddave Devo vassatu kalene sassa sampatti hetu ce Pito bhavatu loko ce Raja bhavatu dhammiko Akasattha ca bummattha Devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva Cirang rakkantu loka sasanang Akasattha ca bummattha Devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva Cirang rakkantu dhamma desanang Akasattha ca bummattha Devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva Cirang rakkantu mang paranti Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well, happy and peaceful. May you be blessed with good health throughout. And may all your righteous aspirations be fulfilled. If you have just joined us, you are participating in our evening worship on this special day of Vesak. So you are joining us in our worship at the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. We have gone live with lots of sermons this morning onwards. So we had the Venerable Nepali Panyaratna Thera starting the program with his sermon. He was he's the abbot in charge at the Sri Sumangala Vihara in Kathmandu, and also he is the visiting lecturer at the Theravada Buddhist Academy and Lotus Academy in Nepal. And secondly, we had Venerable Liang Vila Ratanasiri. He is the Deputy Principal of the Dangul Sri Dangul Sri Vimala Dharma Mahapirivena, and also the Viharadhikari of the Sri Sudharma Ram Vihare in Elgol, Kandy. Third, we had a sermon by Venerable Surya Baba Kusala Thera, the in charge of the Lechwat Buddha Vihara in Lechwat Buddhist Community Vihara. And he also has been contributing, all of these venerables have been contributing to our programs regularly. Next, we had Venerable Vatanapaha Jinananda from the Vatanapaha Vihara in Sri Lanka. Then we had Venerable Vadigala Samitaran Thera, who is just finished his degree at the Oxford Brookes University in Oxford, and he was and also Venerable Professor Sankich Mahathera, who is the visiting professor at the Lumini Buddhist University in Nepal, and also the resident monk at the Sri Sumangal Vihara in Kathmandu. So all of these venerable monks kindly committed to assist us in making your observance of Vesak today a wholesome one. So we thank all the venerables for their contribution to our program. Since this morning we have broadcast the sermons. If you wish to listen to them, please do go to our YouTube channel lmmc.online, and you can subscribe as well as also listen to the sermons at your free time. So now, before meditation, let me share with you some of the thoughts that all the Buddhists around the world must be listening to and also practicing. So today is the Vesak, the Buddhist era, which is the Buddhist calendar 2067, and Buddha Jayanti, and the birth of the Buddha or his enlightenment 2612. So Sabba Papasa Akaranang Kusalasa Upasampada Sachitta Paryutapanang Etang Buddhana Sasanam. So this is a verse in the Dhammapada. Avoid all evil actions. So not just actions, avoid your evil speech, and also wrong thinking, evil thinking. So Sabba Papas Akaranam. So do not do evil acts. So when you say Akaranam, so not to do evil acts. Secondly, develop skills, or try to transform yourself to avoid submitting yourself to the tendencies of thinking, doing, or even acting evil. So all the negative thoughts, which obviously we know as Buddhists, the three roots, unwholesome roots: greed, hatred, ignorance. They are the roots to all the unwholesome thinking, which again is activated through unwholesome speech and unwholesome actions. And try to avoid submitting or committing yourself. Try to avoid being puppeteered by those thoughts, but actually deviating yourself from there and trying to develop wholesome thinking, something that is more useful, which helps us get rid of or escape from the delusion that we normally would be conditionally thinking. And the third line means Sachitta Paryutapana, purify your own mind, transform your mind. No one can actually do that, and only you yourself, we ourselves, can transform our way of thinking and our mind. So to purify means, again, to acknowledge or understand perhaps the normal habitual tendencies, which could be from asavas or all the cankers, could be from the unwholesome roots that I said. So if we learn how to understand the reality, the truth, we will slowly be able to purify our minds. So these are the 3 lines from the Dhammapada which summarizes all the Buddha's teachings, not just our Gautama Buddha, but all the Buddha's teachings. So most of the time, we need to realize, which we fail to realize, that we are of 2 entities or 2 phenomena. We have our worldly life, the living. We live, we educate ourselves, we do jobs, we try to succeed, prosper. And when the world is judging us on our prosperity and our achievements and successes, sometimes we get deluded in that track, and we think that is the ultimatum. But we also need to remember that there is our inner self in terms of well-being or spirituality, which is what the Buddha said, Satitta Pariyudapanam, try to purify your mind. That inner mind is what we need to work on mostly as well, to actually have, I would say, well-being, happiness throughout. Because if we are to think in the word sukha, where lots of you must have heard today, sukho buddhanam uppado. So if it is a reason for happiness, that means the functioning or the performance of yourself, or the way you actually transform yourself, is a reason for happiness. So we, as much as we show our gratitude to the Buddha on this day for his marvelous, wonderful guidance that we had as a teacher, we need to also learn how to take the path. So coming back to my previous point, when we said, when we are assessed or judged by our success, very few people acknowledge our well-being, success or performance. So if we are to think in the track or routine of performance management, we should spend not once a year, like on such Poya days, or once a month on all Poya days, or every week, like Satara Mahapoya, or perhaps every day is we have to do our performance management of our mindset. Learn how to look at the mind and learn how to transform, which actually leads to our happiness. Happiness is something that we all perhaps look up to, and it is this material gain sometimes that we get deluded and think happiness is based on all our gains or all our possessions, all our success stories, which is good to recall success stories, because mudita helps you to do that, but we need to go beyond that more. We need to go beyond about how we cause ourselves to perhaps be unhappy. If I use the word suffering, why do we actually fail to be happy? And this human experience of problem of suffering, problem of perhaps evil, could be seen as a focus in the first sermon that the Buddha taught. He talks about the types of suffering which we can again come to analyze. We have our daily experiences, which sometimes can be physically and emotionally painful. So that is the general understanding of dukkha, or suffering. There are some types of suffering which is the reason for the expectations not taking place, and that is quite put by the Buddha in terms of yampichang nalapatitampi dukkham, not things not happening to your expectations, to your ways, to your thinking, to your judgments. And partially on that is the changes that take place beyond or outside you or even within you. So viparinama dukkha, the changes that take place, from our physical changes to our emotional changes, the way we have habitually reacting to the changes, again, things happening beyond our judgments and views and expectations and conclusions. So if you wish to not have pain, but maybe we have a physical pain. When we are ill, we will feel the pain physically and mentally sometimes. So we wish things to be different, but it doesn't. Sometimes we break our possess our possessions, some materials that we own. They change. So the Buddhists take the opportunity of offering flowers on meditating on impermanence for that reason, just to actually internalize that changes do take place. Kayo tathayat vinasa bhavang. So does my accepted or norms, in terms of accepted norms, the world that I create or the world that I think I have, I own, or my body, so you can take it either ways in the worldly context, they all are subject to change. If we fail to actually realize that, then we do sometimes go through a bit of unhappy moments. Viparinama dukkha. So what actually helps understand the Sacitta Pariyudapanam, the line or the teaching, is about learning how to come to a state of being unconditioned. So one of the gathas that really struck me even in my personal reflection is the way Buddha in the Bana talks about his achievement. To what state did he come after his enlightenment? Visankhara gatang cittang tanhanam khayamajjaga. Visankhara gatang cittang. My mind has come to the state of being unconditioned. Visankhara gatang cittang. Gatang means gone or came to point. Visankhara, so sankhara, sankhata means to be conditioned. So visankhara gatang cittang. So my mind is never going to get conditioned. So unshaken mind. Tanhanam khayamajjaga. So cravings, graspings have actually come to cease, kaya, to cease. So there's no more cravings or graspings or views or judgments in my mind. So that is the state that perhaps we can transform ourselves to do. We can learn how to be mindful to come to that point. When things happen, learn how to be unconditioned. When mishaps takes place, train ourselves to be unconditioned. So how do we come to that point? Sacitta Pariyudapanam, transforming your habitual thinking. So transform your mind to a state that we see things in the reality or the context of the truth, rather than bringing your bag of perception to identify something in your terms. That is where we make the mistake in our habitual thinking tendency or patterns. Your judgments, your desires, your graspings, if we free ourselves from there, learn how to free ourselves from there, chago, patinisaggo, if we free ourselves, let go of our graspings, let go of our views, let go of our identities. How do we do that? Because the moment we actually connect with the object that encounters your mind through your senses, or even the thought that your mind engages in, is actually identified with a tint of self-identity. We connect to it in our terms, in our memories, through our perceptions. And the way when we connect to it, we fail to realize in its true nature, but actually having the connection, thinking that it is my or I that gets offended, or that actually is not being satisfied. So that deluded self, or grasping of that deluded self, grasping of this self, or creating this self, something which is not there actually in reality, which is not there. So to give you a small example, I have been talking and using this recently. On a hot sunny day like this afternoon, if you taste some ice cream and then maybe taste it on another day when it is hotter, so that taste of ice cream becomes a pleasing moment, and we will taste it and think that it is wonderful. I tasted the best of all the ice cream. So we have this concept of I, and we have the grasping of the taste, and we have the grasping of the I, which if we try to feed again, maybe on another day or a cold day, we will not be able to experience the same taste, let alone try to satisfy the self, which actually is not there. So what is this self? The thing, or the self that actually likes this taste, likes that taste, doesn't like that taste, doesn't like that sight, likes this sight, doesn't like that sensation or feeling, likes this something. So doesn't like worries, doesn't like anxieties, or doesn't always like happiness and entertainment. So we have this bag of perception, bag of graspings, which we then come to understand that I. And when that is not satisfied or met, or when that is actually brought forward in between you and the object, that is where we create suffering, we create unhappiness. So the Buddha is telling us, or all the Buddhas have told us, Sachitta Paryodapanam, transform or learn how to transform yourself to understand the truth, or be in the present moment, in one with the object, rather than impose yourself into the object and make a judgment. So we train ourselves to be judgment free, we train ourselves to be personality free, we train ourselves to have no filtering perception to suit our needs or to suit our self-centered thinking. In Sinhala we call mamatve. So when we free ourselves, we are practicing anatta, we are practicing the not self Dhamma, which then makes us easy to actually understand anicca, or impermanence. Because actually, if there is nothing, that if the taste was just a delusion, and therefore the taste doesn't exist now, but it is you, it is us that go into the memory or history or even our deeply rooted thinking to try to meet every experience in a bar of experience, we will then suffer. So we have to free ourselves, let go ourselves from there. Train ourselves to think non-judgmentally. Train ourselves to actually be with the present moment, in one with the object, rather than, as I said earlier, impose our perceptions into the object. So when you see, when you hear, when you smell, when you taste, try to train yourself to just be and accept without any judgment, or not accept, maybe just acknowledge rather than react. Acknowledge rather than react. Because when we react, it's an emotion which is because things are not in your terms. So when we avoid reacting, we are happy. When we learn how to see things as they are, we are happy. So this is the way we can start purifying our minds, because when we fail to do this, there is always unhappiness. And if I take an example of unhappiness, it is like a tainted or a contaminated moment, or a victimized moment of ourselves. Let us not victimize ourselves and take away our freedom. or happiness. Buddhism arose at a time 2612 years ago, at a time when when people blamed previous karma, when people blamed karma. It was a time when people blamed other agencies that actually control us and and is responsible for our suffering. The Buddha said, "It is us who we ourselves can free ourselves from our suffering. We can free ourselves from our suffering. The moment we actually let go of our self-identity, let go of our personalities, let go of our perception, we can free ourselves. And that freedom cannot be experienced until we learn how to transform our way of thinking. So the best type of practice is not just patipatti, but pariyatti, but also patipatti. Having theoretical knowledge is not good enough. Knowing the Dhamma is not good enough. That is the basic level of pariyatti. When you practice the Dhamma, yo Dhammang passati, somang passati. If you practice the Dhamma, if you if you understand the Dhamma, then you understand the Buddha. Otherwise, the Dhamma just becomes a theory. When you understand the Dhamma, then we have Pativeda, that experiential knowledge through practice and meditation is nothing can surpass that, nothing can beat that. So to come to Pativeda moment, we need to train ourselves through meditation, through actually learning how to be in one place, or establishing a mindfulness to a focused point. And gradually we can then maintain ourselves, because the moment we can actually maintain ourselves into one point, then it stops us from going into, as earlier we said, going to histories or memories to actually bring those at the forefront, because we always connect our experience to the past. And through that we may develop anxiety, because we anticipate something unknown in the future. Worries and anxiety controls ourselves sometimes. But being in the present moment is about not getting conditioned. Neither thoughts, neither the objects that enter through your senses will condition you, but will maintain yourself, the stability. It's like the unshaken water. When you shake a glass with water, it's not still. But when you place it and you let it still for a while, then that is how mindfulness can help you to actually develop yourself or transform yourself. So I won't go much further. Let us take a few moments to practice with me, about 5 minutes. And from there we will do Punya Anmodana on this auspicious day to bless everyone who has been sponsoring and contributing to our program today. So to do meditation, sit upright, wherever you are, however you are sitting. Back straight, and hands to yourself. You can put your right hand on your left palm, or just simply place them on your knees if you're sitting on a chair or sofa. Avoid leaning your back. So take a quick observance. Just look at the way you are sitting. Upright body. Composed posture, not fidgeting, not moving. So notice that difference between your movements and your stillness now. No judgment, but simply being with the posture. Seeing the body as body, seeing the posture as posture, making no connections to your perception or even the concept of I. Just look at the structure, that statue-like body, for a couple of seconds. and bring the mind to your breath. If you're new to meditation, you can pose yourself, or you can put your attention to your nostrils and be the watcher or the gatekeeper of the breath, noticing every breath that goes into your nostrils and every breath that comes out, as if a gatekeeper is observant about people coming and going from the gates or the door. So as you breathe in, stay with the breath, just follow the breath that goes through your nostrils, and stay with the breath that comes out of your nostrils for a few minutes. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Just watch your breath without judgment. If you do wander, just note now, recognize where you were. So free yourself from there and then come back to breathing again. Mindful breathing without any judgment. Just bare attention. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So that is the end of our program today. So from morning onwards, we have been broadcasting sermons for your spiritual enlightenment, for you to participate in this Vesak observance from home. So we had few sponsors today which made this possible. I would like to share my gratitude, my thanks. So Mr. Gunatil Hettiarachchi and the family who sponsored a sermon to bless his beloved father who passed away 3 years ago, Sugatapala Hettiarachchi. May he be blessed and may he be happy and peaceful wherever he is. So may the merit accumulated be conducive for his well-being as well as his happiness in samsara, and eventually may he attain the blissful state of Nibbana, and also to bless all family members with good health and happiness. Also to bless dear mother with good health and longevity. Secondly, we had Jiva Ekanayaka and Mr. Sarat Ekanayaka. So the family would like to bless everyone, including the Venerable who gave the sermon, and bless children and grandchildren with good health and happiness, and may everyone be blessed with good health throughout. So with that intention, Mrs. Jiva and Mr. Sarat Eknaik also sponsored the events. We also have Kanti Varnapurage and Amit Varnapurage, and that was to bless their son Stephen, who is in education. So may he be successful in his education and may he have a blessed and successful future. And also to Kanti, who is celebrating her birthday on the 12th, would also like to receive blessings for her birthday. So we also have Purnima Davidson and also Mark Davidson sponsoring a Dhamma sermon. So both of them would like to be blessed with by the virtues of the Triple Gem and be successful in everything that they are engaged in, and also to bless their daughters Rosie and Natalie, who are in education. May they be successful and have very good education, have very successful future. Mrs. Malika Bandara would like to also bless beloved husband who passed away about 23 years ago, Siri Bandara, Mr. Siri Bandara, who was a very close supporter of the Sri Saddhata International Buddhist Center as well. So may he receive our blessings and make his sansaric life happy and peaceful. So Mrs. Malika Bandara have joined us and sponsored one Bana. And she would also like to bless her children and in-laws and grandchild. So may they all be well, happy and peaceful. So Chandi Bandara, Nita Bandara, and daughter-in-law Vinoda Bandara, and also grandson Amika Bandara. May they all be blessed with good health and happiness. And we're also joined by Sunetra Gunawardana, Mrs. Sunetra Gunawardana family, and the intention was to bless beloved mother, Mrs. Karuna Nayaka, Padiranhelage Somavati Upasika, who passed away about 18 years ago. So the family also brought dana on the Vesak day, and also the intention was to bless beloved mother with merit. So may she be blessed and be happy and peaceful wherever she is, and eventually may she also attain the blissful state of Nibbana through the righteous aspirated path. And all the sponsors would like to bless everyone participating today with good health and happiness. May you all be blessed. We also had Mrs. Indira Vijay Singh and Mrs. Rosie Veeratunga also contributing to the success of the program by sponsoring the day. So we also bless the family with good health and happiness. So may everyone in your family also be blessed by the merit that you accumulated by engaging in wholesome deeds, from observing 8 precepts or 5 precepts, listening to or engaging in lots of observances throughout the day, listening to sermons, meditating, and so forth. And also, lastly, joining our worship this evening on this auspicious day of Vesak, recollecting the virtues of the Triple Gem and also certain insights of the Buddha, trying to understand. So may all merit accumulated be conducive for your well-being, happiness, and success. May you all be blessed with good health. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So as I mentioned earlier, we aim to go live again gradually as in the past, not immediately, but we will keep you posted. So you can then participate with us on our daily evening worship and meditation throughout. So enjoy the rest of the evening. If you are observing precepts for until morning, please do also be mindful and engage in either listening to sermons or meditation. And so stay mindful, be happy. So all the very best. Good night. See you sometime soon. Bye bye. Terwan Saranai.